Hey guys, we're doing well today. Let me help everybody do the sound check as always. It is hot over here. It is really, really hot. Let's see. I was doing some things this morning, putting some stuff together, putting together the fairy tale for this weekend. Yeah, cool, it's working. And so this weekend we're gonna have a Peruvian fairy tale actually. So I was in the middle of doing that and recording the Friday Fireside Chat. Computers are going slow, so I thought maybe in the meantime I'll hop over here and do the I Ching reading. So we're going to be checking out again the I Ching. It's a Chinese divination tool. Um, there's a great YouTube channel. I forgot that her name. Oh yes. What is it? Oh yeah. So her YouTube channel is also called Benabel Wen. I don't know if you can see that. I try to hold it steady so you can see. Yeah, there you go. Benabel Ven. So she has like a lot of really interesting videos. She's an expert in Chinese divination, astrology, magic, all these kind of things. And she had an excellent video just the other day talking about the connections between astrology and the I Ching, this book that we're reading, as well as about Western occultism and Chinese occultism. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. There are so many similarities and parallels. And again, as we're on this journey to uncover and discover what are the similarities amongst all of these world religions and understandings on the world as we make our way to try to touch on what is true, quote unquote, which things are the most. One moment. Got a text message. I have to respond to this because they're going to be asking me for this information before I can get my prescription. I have the skin infection that I need, and they're supposed to send it earlier, but they didn't so far. So trying to reply to them on time so I can get that done before the weekend gets started. But in any case, guys, it's a really great YouTube channel. She's quite scholarly and she has a lot of knowledge and is a great presenter. So I definitely recommend you check it out. So without further ado, and that's also relevant in case you want to dive deeper into the I Ching, like she goes way back into the history. I mean, she it's really a great podcast, and I that's not even her main job. She's like a lawyer and she does this on the side. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, she's great. So go ahead and check her out in case you're interested to learn more about the I Ching. But without further ado, let's get started with today's reading. I will show you here, as always, as we compose the hexagram. So we get our 3 coins, as always. Make our contact, your intention, and then toss it. We have our first changing line. This is a 6. And so the 6 is an even number that is also a changing line. 6 is even, so it's going to have a gap in between, even with a gap in between. Yup. I should have done a new piece of paper, but I'm trying to save because I do quite a many of these, so I use the same post. So I hope that's okay for you guys. It's not going to be. You can still see the lines from the other side when I did it. So I just try to reuse it because too much waste is not good. Not a good thing. We're going to have a really interesting Friday Fireside Chat episode, guys. I don't know if you've ever heard of this Rosicrucian Society and their practices, beliefs, understanding of the world. But it's a really interesting text and or organization, institution. And I'm beginning to think that they have a lot to offer for people who are in the process of reparenting. But anyway, forget that little aside detour. Okay, that's the first one. Only did one. Another changing line. They're going to have me reading today, guys. We have a lot of lines to read today. The past few times, I don't think we had any. I think the past 2 readings, we didn't have any changing lines. So let's go ahead and see. I am also, sorry, in the meantime, redoing all the images for the fairy tale because apparently when I was trying to multitask and apparently I did not set up the tool right. And so in some kind of way, they thought that this is an Indian fairy tale. So all the images had like this Indian background in it. And I was like, yeah, this don't make sense. So I was like, I need to read. This is crazy. Again, another changing line. What the fuck? Okay, so 666 with 3 gaps. I think that is like 3 solid lines or 3 lines with a gap in it is earth, heaven and earth. I think the one with the gap is heaven. Let's double check. Oh, I was wrong. The gaps mean earth. Maybe the gaps because you fall to the earth, and then the solid lines are heaven because it keeps you up because there's nothing to fall down to. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to memorize it. It's not important. We have this chart here, but one day I want to memorize all these. And again, that Benabel, she talks about these different symbols. She even goes into the ancient traditional Chinese characters. And so this text is a really, really interesting story. If you want to check out that documentary. Let's see. 4, 7. It's an even number. I mean, odd number, so it's a solid line with no gap. And another changing line. Insanity, y'all. And then one more. Another changing line. This is crazy to me. This one is lake. No, lake is only one. Thunder. Ooh, I got it right. Okay, nice. I'm learning them slowly, guys. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's really interesting. You know, something I don't know if you guys know about like magic squares, but even in Chinese divination, these things exist. And it's like, for me, it's so amazing because, you know, when I was a child, I always had this natural feeling that all these religions are, you know, really just the same thing. And I struggled to understand when I was a kid, why don't people just understand that all of these are the same thing? You know, for me, it was just like natural by default understanding. And so I never really understood why you know, so many people fighting about religion. And so I'm going to push you out, you know, if you don't believe what I say and all of this bullshit. But in any case, let's go ahead and use the diagram to see where we're at now. On the bottom, we have earth, 3 broken lines. And then on the top, we have 2 broken lines and a solid, which is thunder. That means, ooh, I think this is a new one, guys. I don't think we've read hexagram 16 before, or at least it's not bringing anything to my mind immediately. So let's go ahead and see 16. I really don't remember this one. So I'm always excited. Yes. There's a brand new one, guys. I'm so excited for today. I mean, it's ridiculous. I get so excited doing these I Ching readings. Now that I'm starting to learn more about the history and everything like that. And yeah, so we have a new one for today. Just let me send this last message. Sorry for the distraction today, guys. It's important to trust in this process, to make some connection. For my own personal experience, I always try to connect with the universal source, the God energy, before I do this, as if I'm allowing that energy to play out in this process. And I think that's why I understand, I perceive that I've had so many synchronicities. And this is also a synchronicity, the reading that we have for today. So before we get started, let's, as we always do, double check the diagram that we've drawn it correctly with the one at the top. By the way, because this is an ancient text, you can find it in the public domain in case you'd like to read on your own. And you can see, yes, this does match the one at the top. That's our key. And this one is called You, Enthusiasm. You can take a screenshot if you want, or you can look it up in the public domain. It's everything is available there. We have a lot of changing lines to read this time. We have 5 changing lines. I don't think I've ever done a reading. Where did my pencil go? Oh, here. I have never done an I Ching reading here where we had 5 changing lines. Like, that's pretty insane, guys. So I'm excited to read this first. This new hexagram. So it's called You, Enthusiasm, which again is another synchronicity in terms of what I've been thinking about, particularly this week, or really this entire month. I've been having some difficult flashbacks, and a lot of processing, releasing of heavy emotions. Even today, I feel quite depleted because this was quite an active week in terms of the things that I was processing and managing. And this enthusiasm really is calling back to the answer or the question that I've had this week in terms of how do you learn how to perform or exist within, or embody is the actual word. How do you learn to embody a new way of being? Because it is the energy that you're sending out that is a consequence of your thoughts, your beliefs, your patterns, your emotional, your repetitious emotions. All of this is creating your energetic field, your aura, and that is how people determine how to respond to you or how to treat you, right? And so when your energy is depleted, that's how these narcissistic, abusive, exploitative people, the demons, the people on the dark side, that's how they can tell who they can easily exploit, because they will see that your energy is a little bit low, your soul is a little bit weak, right? And so they can more easily attack you. And so that's something that I've been thinking about in terms of building safety, inability to navigate the world, trust in that, because it's a lot of stuff going on. So a lot of people are having difficulty with connection. And anyway, that's why I thought this can be another synchronicity. So without further ado, because I think I've rambled on, normally the video was already done by now, but I've been multitasking today, guys. So this one is called You, Enthusiasm. Proper enthusiasm opens every door. Now, only we need the energy to have the enthusiasm. Continuing with the reading. The I Ching teaches that there are two kinds of enthusiasm. One that leads to misfortune, and one that leads to success. This hexagram comes as a sign that you can proceed with confidence now if your enthusiasm is properly found. I'll read that sentence one more time. This hexagram comes as a sign that you can proceed with confidence now if your enthusiasm is properly found. Improper enthusiasm is fueled by the desires of the ego. People often desire recognition, wealth, power, fame, or freedom from difficulty. Such desires can become so great that we will do anything to achieve them. Our energy rises as we wildly pursue our goal. But this unruly and egotistical enthusiasm inevitably leads us into incorrect and imbalanced behavior and into misfortune. Proper enthusiasm, on the other hand, is fueled by a devotion to attaining and expressing inner balance and inner truth. I'll read that one more time. Proper enthusiasm, on the other hand, is fueled by a devotion to attaining and expressing inner balance and inner truth. When your aim is not to influence others or to satisfy your ego, but to follow the guidance of the higher power in all you do, you acquire another kind of energy, a balanced and bottomless eagerness for living in step with what is right and good. In this, there is true power and true grace. This hexagram reminds you that striving out of your ego now will only push you further away from your goals. Seek instead to follow proper principles. Keep to what is innocent, correct, and kind, and the creative will come to your aid. The path of truth is always the path of least resistance. That's a really nice reading, guys. I'm really quite touched by that. Now we have 5 changing lines. The only changing line that we're not reading today is line 4. For your reference, in case you'd like to read it later, you can take a screenshot or something. Again, it's in the public domain. This is number 16. So, let's go with these changing lines. The first line, arrogance leads to a fall. Unite with the higher power and remain modest and innocent. Second line, recognize the beginning of improper action. The superior person corrects herself while it is still easy to do so. I'm going to read that one more time because I kind of stumbled. Second line, recognize the beginnings of improper action. The superior person corrects herself while it is still easy to do so. The third line, do not rely on others to direct your conduct. I'll read that one more time. Do not rely on others to direct your conduct. Be determined in holding to the good at every turn. The fourth line we skip. The fifth line, your ego prevents the desired movement. Take time now to correct your inner attitude. And the sixth line, inferior notions lead you towards misfortune. Self-correction can still make possible a success. This is a really powerful hexagram today, guys. Again, because it reflects a lot of what I've been experiencing and thinking about and diving into in terms of my own release, in terms of my own process of building after the release. Because once you release, there's still stuff to be done, work to be done, right? It's a never-ending process of peeling that onion. But one thing that all of these texts, the I Ching, okay, Buddhism, Taoism, the Rosicrucian Society that I will put on the Friday Fireside Chat today, all of these organizations, these texts, these principles, they tell us to return to proper action and equanimity. I heard someone speaking the other day, just yesterday. What was the phrase that he used? Like unlimited equanimity or unbothered equanimity, or I really wish I could find what he said. Damn, I should have put that quote. I know I responded on the video, but I can't remember. It was like, no, I'm so something about like, an equanimity that is unperturbed, that cannot be changed. Like, so a rock solid equanimity. Equanimity is like your inner peace, stability, tranquility. And this is only a possible when you are aligned, your ego self access from Carl Jung is aligned with your original source and your connection with God. So that's the difference between the light path and the dark path. If you're on the light path, and you are fueled by a natural energy source from God, because your ego self-access. The ego self-access is, your ego is who you're performing in the world, who you believe yourself to be, the definition. The persona is more about how you display that, but the ego is that identity of who you are in this world. And the self is your true center, your core essence. And so that access that connects these two in the diagram that Carl Jung has made, you can Google that. When these are aligned, you are in alignment with your natural gifts and talents. And when you are in alignment with that, or your true nature, and when you are aligned with that, that means energy is coming literally from God through your body. Like, you have an energy source. Now, what happens is that many people, because of childhood trauma, they don't develop that self. And they then develop a false self, another ego, that Winnicottian idea, that false self of, how to present in the world to get their needs met, to be safe, to belong, all of these things, right? But the problem is that their ego and their self are not in alignment. So the energy is not flowing. You know what I'm saying? And this is when people normally start to choose the dark path, like the narcissist, manipulation, exploiting, stealing, extracting energy harvesting from other beings, because they are depleted. They don't have a soul. And because they're not aligned with ego self-access, they're not receiving energy from the infinite source, the universe, like the real source. And so it's really important to remember all of those things, because when we're in the process of healing, something that I've been thinking about, this idea of being a whole person, embracing the light and darkness, right? I think there's some people who choose to live completely in the light, like maybe empaths or something. Like, you're afraid to hurt people's feelings, you're afraid to stand up for yourself, you become a people pleaser, you're kind of like diminished. Versus the other side, you become more dominating, taking over, stealing, manipulating, like it's about power and control. And I think, being a whole person requires some balance of these. But one question that I've been working on and considering is that if these texts keep reminding us to return to equanimity and to always lead with proper action, then in what circumstances is it appropriate to engage with these other, energy harvesting? I mean, it doesn't have to always be so negative and aggressive, but I mean, it is the dark side, So, and people obviously who choose completely the dark side, they're also fucked. But people who choose the light side completely, you're also unable to protect and defend yourself. Like as we discussed earlier, Jordan Peterson, even though he's very controversial, one thing that he has mentioned over quite consistently is that if you don't have an inner beast within you, somebody who, like, not somebody, but a force that has power, that feels fear, anger, and can protect and establish your boundaries, that can defend your boundaries. You need that beast inside you, because this world is full of crazy, chaotic people. The quote from Machiavelli and the Prince, any man who choose, this is not the exact quote, but the whole gist of it is that any man who choose to live in light and honesty and truth must be careful not to fall prey to the many who don't follow those principles. And so, you can be a good person always with the best intentions, but you also have to protect yourself. And you cannot really do that on this plane unless you have that beast inside you, you know. Even the Bible verse would protect your heart from for from that flows all of life. Protect your heart because from that flows all of life. So if you are on the good side, the good person path who believes in healing, loving people, supporting people, growing, everything like that, right? You're going to be more of a good person, you know. Um, and this is what it means for us to try to figure out what it is that we are experiencing in this process, you know, of reparenting. How do you maintain improper principles and thoughts while protecting yourself when there are people in the world who also don't align, you know, with the way that you're living in this light? Now, hopefully the energies in the world are shifting. We're moving to a new paradigm, this new earth. So hopefully things are going to be better. And I know that we're really in the middle of a transition period because so many people are feeling the shift in energy, the changing dynamics politically, interpersonally, almost in every area of life. Our collective life is really impacted. And so this was a really great reading, guys. I hope that you've appreciated this. I gave you a bit of a few random rants because normally these videos are not so long, but I got caught on a few random rants. But I hope you found value in those rants actually, because those are the questions that I'm asking myself. As again, I don't have the answers to reparenting. I'm literally sitting here trying to, you know, carve a path that will help people figure out how to return to their souls. Um, because I'm naturally someone who is more on the light path. You know, I am not someone who is naturally inclined to follow the darkness. You know, those traits or skills or whatever you want to call that is not something that's inherent to me. Um, and because the way I grew up, I did not have this awareness, and it took some time for me to figure all this out. And so that's how I approach it, and that's why I've selected this reading for today. So I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to check out. Just about to record that now, the Friday Fireside Chat from today, which is going to be touching on the Rosicrucian Society. So I definitely recommend that you check them out in case you haven't before. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. So have a great day, guys. Take care. Peace, and I'll see you soon.